Yeah, things are bad right now. Um, anyway, uh, look at my eyeball. I blew my nose yesterday while I was at work, and my eye popped. It felt like it was gonna pop out. And now I'm going to the hospital because look at it. Look. I think it's just swollen. Right? Right. I hope it's just swollen. What if it's just shrunk forever? So you might be wondering how I got to this point. Well, I was having a normal day at work, which is McDonald's, by the way, so that's a bad day already. And my manager finally decided to give me a break from, slaving away all day. And my break was normal, like I normally do. I just sit in there, eat French fries, and watch YouTube. But then I noticed I had a booger in my nose, and had to blow it. Now I didn't even get a tissue or anything. I just found a McDonald's bag and blew snot into it. But I didn't actually blow snot into it. Nothing came out. I blew my nose. And it felt like my eye was gonna pop out. And I blew it with all my strength too, so I was genuinely afraid that it was going to pop out. Because it felt like it. But I freaked out. I looked in the mirror and my eye looked bad. And I got out of the car and I kind of just stood there for like a minute in shock. But I eventually go inside and ask my friend if my eye looked weird. And he's like, "What happened to your eye?" And that's when I knew my eye looked weird. But everyone was like actually concerned for me. Like one of my coworkers asked me if I wanted to go to the hospital. They asked to drive me to the hospital. Probably got out of work, but I don't blame them. But eventually, I got back into the window, which was where I was working that day, and the customers kept giving me dirty looks, so I just kind of had to pretend that uh, I had pink eye. I just pretended I have pink eye. But eventually, the day ends, and I go home, and I have a choice. I wonder if I should tell my family about the eyeball situation. And it was like 11, so I decided not to. So I just decided to sleep it off and hope and pray that it's better. And my prayers were not answered because I woke up and it was still bad. It was literally the exact same. So eventually my brother gets home and he's like, "What the crap happened to your eye?" So then, like, I tell him, and then he texts my mom, and then my mom comes home and she's like, "Come on, we're going to the hospital." I didn't think it was that big of a deal because, like, I figured it'd just go back to normal at some point. But once I get to the hospital, I'm in the waiting area, and there's this old lady just staring at me the entire time. But it's not really important to the story, but, you know. Anyways, I finally get taken in and I do the vision test. And I do great. And I'm supposed to have glasses, but I don't need them, let's be honest. My vision was fine. My eyeball was still working. But I was like confident everything would be okay. But then they wanted me to go in to a CAT scan. And then I start freaking out a little bit. But I I come in and get it done. It was kind of weird, but yeah. I'm sure some of you got a CAT scan before. And the doctor walks in and says, "That's crazy. That's crazy." But he doesn't say it directly to me, but he says it as soon as he walks in. So I start freaking out again, and I start thinking about how my life will be with a really tiny eyeball. And it gets depressing. I get very depressed. Like, it was bad. But I don't know. I guess it wasn't that crazy because the doctor just comes in and says I have orbital emphysema. And it's not the normal emphysema where you're basically dead, but it's just the orbital variety. And basically, the doctor says I have to stop blowing my nose so hard. And orbital emphysema is when air gets trapped behind your eyeball, like behind your eye socket area, um, for like when you blow your nose and stuff. But if you blow it hard enough, you can break your face. Break your face. So yeah, lucky I didn't break my face. But I'm fine now, as you can tell. And all I had to do was like press down, and little air bubbles would pop out every time, like every once in a while. But yeah, the moral of the story is to not blow your nose so hard. And that is about it. Catch you on the flippity flip.